Welcome back to Budds Creek, Maryland, where it's time for moto number 1 of the 250s coming up. Ezra Lusk of Team Honda taking over the points lead from his teammate Sebastian Tortelli in the last round at Southwick, Massachusetts. Greg ALBERTIJN also in the hunt with Mike LAROCCO and Jeff Emig in the top 5. Even at number 6, Kevin Windham has a win on the season. Top privateer now signed with Chaparral Yamaha Tim Ferry. Let's go down to Davey at the starting gate.
First 250 motors getting ready to go up on the starting gate down here in Budds Creek, and as muddy as it is, why not go right to the expert? Arguably the greatest mud rider who ever lived, 5-time world champ Roger DeCoster. What are you telling your Suzuki guys?
I think just look for good lines, you know, and keep momentum up and try not to go down, be consistent.
It seems like the track's really dynamic, Roger. Some parts are slick, other parts are deep mud. So that means the start's going to be how important?
The start is very important because the track is pretty much turned into one line. So it's important that way, because to pass a guy, you're going to have to go in the soft, in the deepest mud, and obviously that's not the best thing.
How do you think you would do out there? Or let me tell you this, or let me ask you this. Would you want to be out there?
You know, when I was racing, nobody liked to ride in the mud, but the other guys liked it a lot less than me, and it was the easiest condition for me to win on.
Coming into this race, we've had 4 different winners in 4 races. Here's 2 of them, Ezra Lusk and Greg ALBERTIJN. As we look at our starting grid, Tortelli has won as well as he took the opener in Glen Helen. Windham has also won. In fact, this is the first year ever that Team Honda has had 3 winners in a single season. Checking out the entire 40-rider field. The AMA Motocross Series has never seen 5 different riders in a row. Maybe it'll come out of this group right here, David Bailey.
This is a chance for privateers or some surprise to get up there and get great starts, especially that one-line track that DeCoster talked about. Great time for a breakthrough.
The fans heading for cover here as we go down to the starting gate. Here's Kevin Windham looking down. He's got his number on top of his helmet to help the scores. Let's go to Davey.
We're down here at the far end of the starting gate. You can see the starting position that Kevin Windham and Larry Ward have chosen. Hey, check out that number on the top of Kevin Windham's helmet. That's an old trick that Jean-Michel Bale used to do. Seal a number, seal a plastic piece, put it on top of your helmet, let the scores judge you better.
It's also got something going on there on the seat, probably to get a little bit better traction on the motorcycle. Once that mud gets all over everything, starts sliding to the back of the bike starts to wander around and get you in trouble.
Interesting strategy with Windham way on the outside.
Yeah, I think what he may have done was found out that over in front of the starting gate it was a much better patch of dirt. Get better traction.
They're off and running. The first moto of the 250s underway. Kevin Windham cuts out in front. His strategy worked. Sebastian Tortelli is in second place, and a log jam right there. Number 17, Robbie Raynard plopping down. There's number 8, Greg ALBERTIJN just getting out of the pack.
Ezra Lusk didn't get that great of a start either. You see him just getting out of the picture. Look how clean Windham and Tortelli are. First and second. What an advantage. I mean, I cannot say this enough today, but you can see it for yourself. Third on back, you can't even see who they are.
Kevin Windham after his 4th hole shot of the season. It'll be interesting to see how Tortelli reacts to this surface.
Well, I know he's a great mud rider, but so is Kevin Windham. So I look for these guys to just pull away from the pack.
Kevin, growing up in Louisiana, used to like to practice in the rain even.
I have a feeling Tortelli might even just be kind of happy to follow Kevin around, let him find all the good lines, learn a little bit from him, and maybe even be content with second place. As long as he's ahead of Ezra Lusk.
With Ezra Lusk way back there getting a slow start, and just recapture the points lead for number 44 if that's the case.
Look at that deep water. That's where you got to be careful. It's a huge responsibility for the rider in conditions like this to take care of the motorcycle. Normally these bikes are absolutely bulletproof, but on a day like this, you saw what happened in the 125s. Anything can happen.
Kevin Windham, our leader with Tortelli, and watch that bike. David, look at that rear wheel.
Well, if you skid the rear wheel down into a corner, downhill like that, you actually pick up speed. You want to get on the brake just enough so it doesn't skid. When you get into a tight, sharp corner, sometimes they pull in the clutch all the way not to stall the motor and purposely skid the back tire. Pitch it all the way around, get that corner made before they even get there. These are the conditions that just play into the favor of Kevin Windham's smooth style, his great balance and throttle control. That's how you ride in these conditions. You can't just jump on the throttle coming out of a corner. You'll spin or slide out, and Kevin rolls that throttle on better than anybody out there. Sebastian's learning from him right now, and they're starting to pull away.
Looks like Tortelli is doing exactly what you anticipated him doing.
Stay just out of that roost, but close enough you can watch what's happening and learn. Kind of keep your eyes on third, make sure they're not gaining. As long as they aren't, you can be patient out there and save the motorcycle, choose the best lines.
Sebastian Tortelli, number 44, trying to regain the points lead. As Ezra Lusk is on top right now. It's Kevin Windham, Tortelli down in third, and Sebastian Waugh in fourth with Mike LaRocco. Welcome back to Budds Creek for round 5 of AMA Motocross. We're in our first 250 moto. In third place, number 6, from Team Yamaha, John Dowd.
He's a good mud rider as well.
Well, when the rain started coming down this morning, I was thinking Dowd, Larry Ward, good mudders.
Yep. I always like to be considered the guy in weird conditions, muddy or extremely hot or sand. I like to be the guy that everyone, oh, it's sandy. Bailey's the guy, you know. Like DeCoster said, when it was raining, everyone else liked it a lot less. It was easiest conditions for him to win under. So therefore, all of a sudden, as soon as the rain comes down, everyone starts pointing at Roger DeCoster. That just gives him more momentum. Makes it easier for him to dominate.
Dowdy winning his first race, first national at Hangtown. Ezra Lusk comes in for some goggles.
Well, that's a tough one. Coming in to get goggles, you've got to try to keep the bike running. Look at LaRocco. I think that's LaRocco anyway, just flying through there making a pass.
LaRocco looked like he was passing Sebastian Waugh, Jean-Sebastian Waugh. Yes, it is.
Going back, the tough part about coming in to get goggles, you got your hands on the handlebars trying to keep the motor running. And in some cases in gear, the clutch in. And so you're relying on somebody else to put those goggles on your face. Here comes Huffman. Watch what happens. They try to put the goggles on. All this mud falls off from the visor, gets inside of there. There's nothing you can do about it. So now you got little pieces of mud floating around inside the goggles when you go back out to ride. Oh, that's not.
And our cameraman's got a few pieces of mud slapping up against the lens as he roosts out of the mechanics area. Mike LaRocco. He's a good mudder, and he's proving it.
Well, Damon had to just take off out of there and roost everybody that just gave him a fresh pair because he tried to stay ahead of that rider. I didn't tell who it was coming by. See those rags they have hanging from their pants? And the idea behind that is, I never used them. I thought it just kind of looked dorky, and they were always muddy. It seemed like if you try to reach back for one, but if you'd happen to fall down or reach up to wipe your face and you get mud on your gloves, you can't turn the throttle. Imagine just dipping your handlebar in grease. That's what it's like trying to ride.
Let's check in with Davey once again.
Well, in the very early going here, the first 250 moto, good and bad for Team Honda. First of all, they got Windham with that hole shot from the far outside, and Sebastian Tortelli, former world champion. You know that guy can ride in the mud. Well, he's in second. However, series points leader Ezra Lusk has already had to make a pit stop. He had to stop and get some fresh goggles. I couldn't tell if Ezra went down on that first lap, but he's way back. In fact, he's not even in the points right now. So we'll see if Ezra can make it up, and we'll see what happens with Windham and Tortelli.
Okay, Davey, as we rejoin the action, and you see what a scorer might have a problem here unless the scorer saw the back of LaRocco's jersey. You can't see the number plates.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can see. Look at that. Can't even tell who that is. Listen to that throttle control around the corner. Just not even in the power band. Any more throttle than that, he'd risk sliding the back tire out of that rut.
LaRocco, 11 consecutive years in the top 10 final motocross standings on 4 different brands.
He's sampled them all. I think he's found his happy home now, though. Seems to be pretty comfortable on the Honda. Consistent, that's for sure. He's a great mud rider. He's great in rough conditions, hot conditions, rough racetrack, sand. But he just seems to be unable to get those wins that he needs to really put himself over the top, get that points lead that he feels like he deserves.
LaRocco trying to chase down now John Dowd of Team Yamaha. LaRocco coming off a podium performance at 2-3 at Southwick after a horrendous 13th place overall at Mount Morris. Let's go back down to Davey.
Brian, I know you and John Dowd have been in some mud races before. How do you feel about him being in third right now? Playing it safe, or is this just about the best you can hope for without a good start? Well, he had a decent start. He's, you know, questioning still his conditioning. You know, he's still coming back from the injury, so it's hard to push him right now. But I think he was a little tentative in the beginning and let Tortelli and Windham get away, and I think that's what he's paying for right now. But I think he's all settled in pretty much right now. So.
He's also got LAROCCO right behind him. He's been pushing him for most of the race.
Yeah, well, that's actually been a good thing. It's kind of made him pick it up a little bit. But John Sebastian Waugh is catching up too, so I'm keeping him, you know, aware of the situation, and hopefully he can handle it. You know.
Dowd getting stronger and stronger at Southwick. He had 2 hole shots and a 3-2. It's those little muscles around the shoulder injury that happened in the Daytona Supercross that put him way behind. But look at LAROCCO fight through the muck.
That is just not pretty. Look at that. It takes so much energy to ride around the racetrack. I've already mentioned it. All the mud sticking to you just weighs you down. Just to lift your leg up, put it out for the corner is more difficult. It's like having ankle weight.
Whoa, look at that. One of those mud slicks has slipped off the fender and is wrapping around the front wheel of Mike LaRocco's bike.
That's going to be a problem.
Now, Team Honda, who's used those mud slicks very successfully in past races, decided not to put them on for this race. But it's obvious there.
It's just hanging up. It's starting to lock. Well, it's not really locking up the front wheel too bad, but it seemed like Mike kind of looked over at the front wheel as he went around that right-hand corner. He had noticed that. It'd be a problem for him just when he was starting to close in on Dowd.
We have to take a break now, but we'll be back to see what happens to Mike LaRocco. Kevin Windham still our leader here in the 250s. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, get in, be moved. We're playing in the mud at Budds Creek Motocross Park, Budds Creek, Maryland. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Combs as we take a look at Ezra Lusk, who you might say had the points lead because he's already back in 17th place. And look at the shape he's in with Tortelli in second. He's perched and ready to take back the points lead from Ezra Lusk.
I'm thinking about Kevin Windham now, who's, you know, he's going to be, if he can hold things together today, he could be the first rider to win 2 races on the season. Here he is right here, still leading the race. Really is going to take a chunk out of Ezra's lead, but he's also going to move himself under the striking distance and become a player in this title chase.
And in the last 20 years of motocross, AMA Motocross, the first rider to win 2 races in a season has won the title 15 times in 20 years.
That's pretty good odds. I had no idea. It just looks like Kevin is the same as he's done in Supercross, providing he stays healthy here in the outdoors. He gets better and better as the season progresses.
Sebastian Tortelli in second place with Windham out in front. Let's go to Davey.
Shane, looks like Sebastian's playing it safe, kind of taking his time. You think he sent him a passage, he's just going for points?
Who knows, actually. He's a smart rider, so Kevin's a little ways down on points, so maybe he's just thinking he's going to get the max that he can, and, you know. I already told him a couple laps ago he had like plus 30, so he knows he's not under pressure from anybody.
But look at this. He's starting to put the pressure on. Kevin Windham, number 44, has pulled up very, very close to Windham, and Windham is about ready to lap Ezra Lusk. Lusk winning this race back in 1997. He's looking back at his teammates as they pass him.
Probably like to be in that battle for real instead of being a lap down. How frustrating to be the points leader and be getting lapped.
Whoa! Tortelli to the inside. Sebastian Tortelli has taken the lead from Kevin Windham. Look out, it sounded like he had a 4-stroke in front of him there. He's got about 3 riders in front of him. I wish I could tell you who went down, but because of the mud, I don't know. And here comes Kevin Windham right back again.
That was a little bit of a bummer for Tortelli. He just made the pass for the lead, and a lapped rider crash forced him to the outside line. Kevin kind of took his time, got back into the main groove, and hooked up much better up that hill.
And Tortelli's down now. Sebastian Tortelli adds more bad luck to the situation. Can he hold on to second place? The engine's still running.
That explains the look on Shane Drew's face.
He heard over the radio that Sebastian had gone down.
Yeah, double disappointment. Not only did he get the lead and lose it right away, then he went down, but it appears he's going to hold on to second. Kevin not as clean as he was a little while ago. The rain slowed down a little bit. That mud started to stick more.
And having to go through the lappers, probably he's got some roost. But Kevin Windham now with a good-sized lead. This could be his first moto win of the year.
Doesn't have any pressure anymore, so he can afford to take his time through the lappers and pick the best lines, try to figure out what's going to work for him in the second moto, because the best line out here, you know, we've heard Roger DeCoster, and we've certainly talked about it enough that it's one line. That one line is going to get messed up, deep, rougher, and you're going to have to find somewhere else. That's what you start to do, and if you're in Kevin's situation, you don't have pressure, you start to look around a little bit.
The rain has stopped, though. That might make for an interesting second moto situation as Kevin Windham is dominating. Our Suzuki trivia question, which rider won a championship without ever winning a race? We'll be right back. Time running down here in our opening 250 moto from Budds Creek, Maryland. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs. The final lap, the white flag lap, and it's Kevin Windham with a fist in the air. He knows right now that he's got this thing under control.
You can tell how much it's drying out just in that main line. It's almost to the point where it's very dry in that one line and just horrible everywhere else. So.
Our Suzuki trivia question, which rider won a championship without ever winning a race? It was Jean-Michel Bayle, winning the 250s in 1991 without actually winning an overall. But it's consistency that counts in a lot of these championship chases.
Tim Ferry winning a 125 Supercross title in the East Coast, never won a race. You don't like to do it that way, but years later, it says you're the champion. That's what matters most.
And you've got that #1 plate to prove it. Here's the mechanics area. They look just about as tired, worn out, frustrated with the mud as the riders.
Well, they know that their job is about to begin. Go back to the truck, try to get that bike cleaned off, figure out everything's wrong with it underneath all that mud, get ready for the second moto, and not a lot of time to do it.
Clean it out, put it back again. The checkers for Kevin Windham, his first moto win of 1999. Despite the fact that he has an overall victory already, this is his first moto win. Kevin Windham and Sebastian Tortelli, for that matter, dominating. They lapped Ezra Lusk, who came in 11th place. That means Tortelli has the points lead back again by 6 points. Mike LaRocco in 3rd place, despite getting the mud slicks wrapped up in the front wheel. Let's go to Davey.
Hi, Mike. You don't look too happy, but you got to be stoked, man. You came from behind, got a solid 3rd place finish. You're just in line for the overall.
Yeah, I mean, all right with 3rd for the first moto, but I actually felt like I could go fast out there, but I couldn't get around Dowd. I'd get close, and he'd cover my goggles, so it was tough. It was muddy out there, but it's all right. I'll get him next round.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the start. Were you happy with the place you picked on the start?
Until the gate dropped. I just spun off the pad, and it was a mess out there. I mean, I lost probably 4 tear-offs before I even went down the first hill. It was a mess, but I came through it all right. I managed to stay up, and that helps a lot.
Better start next time.
Oh, yeah.
Sebastian Tortelli really giving the challenge. In fact, he led a portion of a lap against Kevin Windham. Even going down, though, he was able to hold on to 2nd place. Let's go back to Davey.
Sebastian, you finally got the start you were hoping for, and everything looked pretty good there, but tell us about the middle part of the moto with that crash.
Yeah, I was very happy about my start. You know, that's the first good one of the year, so it was great to in this condition. And I passed Kevin in going to a uphill, and he passed me straight away back, and I tried to pass him there on the tabletops, and after that it was like a puddle of water, and I just tried to pass him by the inside, and I just take the mud, and I was too much forward on the bike and crashed and slept. If I was back on the bike, would be good and could pass him, but I did this mistake, and he take the win.
You were able to salvage 2nd place. That's going to put you back up there in points because Ezra Lusk didn't do quite so well. What will you do different the next moto if Windham gets out in front of you again?
Oh, I'm going to keep the same place and do the same thing, and just play it, you know, just not aggressive, just try to be smart and rolling and get some good points and try to pick up the lead.
Hey, have you ever had a mud race this bad on the World Championship circuit?
Oh yeah, I'm used to have couple like this. You know, each year we have 2 or 3 like, as bad as that, and you know, I know when you go out there, it's just like everything is 100% at the start, and after you have to just be, you know, calm and just make your speed and try to not take a risk and not crashing. And this time I crashed.
Take a look at that smooth riding style of Kevin Windham early in the moto when he was still clean. Look at that body English. Working that bike to find the perfect line. You got the win. Let's go back down to Davey now.
Well, you might not be able to tell by looking at the number plate, but right here he is, the winner. First 250 moto. Kevin, good job, man. What a fantastic mud ride.
Yeah, it all come from that start. You know, I've been having good starts this year, and you know, I got that one, and I just went out there and tried to have fun. You know, it's a terrible race course right now, but you just got to put up with it, and you know, that's why we love motocross. You know, sometimes it's going to be like that, and you know, I just put my head down and tried to have as much fun as I could. And lappers were pretty bad. I don't think the blue flag guys knew that I was the leader. I think it's so hard to see what numbers on the bike and stuff, but that's where the majority of the mud came from. I got the whole shot and just kind of went out there and tried to have as much fun as I could.
Did you know that that was your teammate Sebastian Tortelli was dicing with you there in the closing stages?
Yeah, I did. I saw him coming. I think he got second on the start, and you know, I saw him back there from the beginning of the race, and he slowly started gaining on me. I had trouble with some lappers, and he actually got by me, and I said, man, I can't let this happen. I just pinned it through some mud, and luckily I came through the other side all right, and then I think about a half lap later he must have went down or something. I came by, and Ali said plus 13, so that was a little breather for me with 2 laps to go.
Back at Budds Creek, Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Combs. After Windham winning his first moto of the year earlier, let's go down to Davey at the starting gate.
Down there on the starting gate for the second 250 moto, kind of a frantic rush here. Kevin Windham's having trouble with his goggles. It appears that the first pair of Scots he put on clogged up a little. You can see his mechanic, Ali Seymour, scratching, trying to get a pair on. And then underneath the bike, they've laid towels down. They're pulling the towels out now. They're getting ready to put the 30-second board up. Kind of a different strategy, but all he wants to do is keep the starting area dry.
I think the idea behind those towels down there till the last minute is when they rev the bike, all the mud and everything falls off of the bike and on the cement. They want it to land on the towels, keep that surface dry so you can hook up again. Start is like 90% of the race today.
It's been incredible in 3 of the 4 events this year. The rider who won the first moto swept the entire event. Can Kevin Windham, number 14, do it again? He got the whole shot in the first moto, and look at that, an incredible whole shot for Kevin Windham, his 5th of the year, his 5th in 10 motos. Just incredible. Larry Ward, Team Suzuki, number 7, is right up there banging bars. Looks like he was locking horns there with Doug Henry, number 1, the defending champion of this event last year.
Tell you what, Kevin got to that first corner, got on the throttle, and got completely sideways. Looked like he was going to go down. Luckily, that was a good enough hole shot. He didn't even get past. He gets behind Larry Ward. Larry Ward can ride the mud as well.
Doug Henry looked like he was going down, and there's Ezra Lusk going down.
Ian Albertine getting collected. Running into John Dowd trying to get around. Look at him just paddling through there.
So both Lusk and Tortelli now with undesirable starts. Kevin Windham, the 3rd member of Team Honda, is out in front with Larry Ward in 2nd place. Doug Henry getting back up for 3rd. Jimmy Button is 4th. We got the 2 4-strokes back there.
Here's another look at what happened to Lusk. And watch what happens right here. Watch John Dowd's foot. He's paddling through this berm. Watch Lusk's front tire.
Ooh, ouch.
Ow. It's right up. See, Dowd needs to get that foot back in there and paddle and try to keep him from having the front end wash out. And Lusk keeps running over it. So that was a kind of a touchy moment right there for all those guys.
Damon Huffman, number 31. Our 2nd moto underway for the 250s. There you see Lusk. Where's Tortelli? There he is. Just went through the screen.
You know, Art, going back to that statistic, I thought that was interesting that the guy that's won the first moto has gone on to sweep. The only time that hasn't happened, the irony of that is it was Kevin Windham. He won Hangtown, he went 3-2, and I think he's looking to change that today.
And the rate he's going today, David, he's going to salt the clouds in Redbud. See it rain.
I'll just do that every week.
Kevin Windham's done a wonderful job so far as he's out in front of Larry Ward.
As well as he's been riding, I think all he needs to do is just keep getting these good starts. These guys are in trouble in the series because he was working his way to the front.
David, in the previous 9 motos, Ward is averaging 11th place finishes. That's not up to Larry Ward's standards.
No, and I think a big part of that is he hasn't been getting the good starts that he was accustomed to. I mean, look at the starts Windham's getting. I mean, trade places with Emig. The years Emig was dominating outdoors, Emig got most of the hole shots, about the same percentage Windham has right now. And it's difficult to do. There's so much talent right now.
And Emig is averaging 8th place finishes over those same motos.
Yeah, that's just not going to get it done. He's 5th in the points. That's what he's right now. And shoot, that's not bad considering the starts he's had.
Ward hoping to turn it around here. Uh-oh, Henry down for the 2nd time. Doug Henry tried. He's going to have to restart that 4-stroke.
Look at these guys going by, roosting them. They're going by in third gear, missing his handlebar by a few inches.
There's his teammate John Dowd.
They don't want to get out of that main line, Art. They're trying to just stay in there, cutting it close.
Kevin Windham, our leader, with Larry Ward right on his backside, and then a big gap for third. Our next televised race on ESPN2 is coming up on July 17th from Buchanan, Michigan. Check it out. The final moto of the day from Budds Creek, Maryland, Art Eckman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs. Jimmy Button in a battle for third place with Albertijn right behind him.
Albertijn is soaking up a huge roost off the back of that fourth. Look at him reaching up to try to clear his vision. So he loses some time to him. It's just one of those deals where as soon as you get close, you got to make a pass quick or you're locked in vision.
Button having a little trouble there controlling. Albertijn with a 6th in the first moto. And is just trying to move up another notch here, take a top 3 position. Jimmy Button looking down at the bike. The bike is stalled. Albertijn sails by into third.
It didn't look like a mistake on his part, like he skidded into the berm and stalled it. It just kind of quit on him.
Looked like the engine quit, and he looked right down to see what was going on. So meanwhile, Greg Albertijn takes advantage of it.
Actually, kind of a blessing that Albertijn had backed off to clear his vision and wasn't right on Button at the time. He may have run right into the back of him.
Absolutely. Albertijn with the 1-1 sweep in Mount Morris. Moved into third place in the points and has stayed there ever since. Button says, hey, it's all over. Come get it.
Yeah, he's going to push it up that hill. Forget it. Get the tow truck.
Here's Mike LaRocco now in 5th place, trying to move up the ladder after the 3rd place finish in the opening moto.
I really thought when the rain started coming down, LaRocco had a good chance of winning this race today. It seems like he's just a little bit off. Can't quite get in there and grab those wins. I mean, he's won here before. There have been times where he was just the fastest guy and nothing was going to stop him from winning.
1994, he won the event here. McGrath won the next 2, then Ezra and Doug Henry last year.
Raynard working his way up, covered with mud. You can barely identify any. Oh, that's Tortelli going down.
Tortelli, who was not in a good position to begin with.
He's stuck. Can't even budge.
Look at that. Now he's got to get the strength, put his legs behind it, and try to get the bike out of the mud.
Well, how's that throttle going to be? The throttle, the front, all that's just covered with mud now. Look at the front wheel. It's not even going to. It's just a frustrating situation. I've been there, and you can't even get going. He's just packed in.
And if the rider's cut to the inside, he's going to get a mouthful. Another rider, Steve Lampson, was down at the bottom of the hill. He got a little bit of mud puddle action there.
Well, you can see the left side number plate and probably the number on his jersey, and that's about it. Tough day for the scorers. Lampson having to go the rest of the way without goggles. Let's watch what happens to Tortelli again. Just coming around the corner. Front end washes out. Nothing he could do about it. He knew he was going to fall for a couple seconds. Just lay in that deep mud. Lucky he didn't get run into, but there's no traction. He couldn't even get a foothold to get himself out from underneath that motorcycle. And Art, it seems to me like he's crashed probably more than anyone in the series. It's amazing to think that he's got the points lead right now.
Look at Doug Henry. He's come back from 9th place. And Mike LaRocco's right behind him.
I'll tell you who's really had to work hard so far is Tortelli. Now, after going down again, that's just salt in the wound. He stalled it on the line, had to come from last. Got to be the guy that's passed the most riders this year.
Let's go to Davey.
Jim, you had a fantastic ride going, but the bike just didn't make it. What happened?
Actually, I don't really know. Yeah, everything was going bitch and got a great start. Bike was working perfect. And I think I was in 3rd behind Larry, and I don't know, it was going good. And I came down the hill and bike just lost power. I don't know. I really don't know what happened. I could have been maybe something electrical with all the rain and all the water. There's a couple big puddles out there that we're having to ride through, and maybe something got in the electrical system. But unfortunately, you know, DNF for today. But had a good ride. Going to be nice to get on the podium.
Tough day at work.
That's for sure.
Rejoining the action, he can get a quick shower right now. We see the Yamaha go through, and then Ezra Lust, number 4, in 7th place. Ezra ahead of Tortelli, able to pick up a few points on Sebastian.
maybe learn a little bit from John Dowd up there ahead of him. I know Ezra can ride in the mud, being from Georgia. I'm sure he's got some experience, but John Dowd might be just a little bit better. Right now, he's just kind of following him. Hopefully they can close the gap on the leaders, pick up a few more points.
Well, it looks like Ezra's regained his momentum. He's got a good pace going behind Dowd. Let's take a look now at the leaderboard as we see John Dowd and Ezra Lusk. But it's Kevin Windham out front. Larry Ward now running a lonely race in second with Albertijn in third. We'll be right back with more of the final moto in a minute. We're back at Budds Creek, Maryland. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs. Taking a look at Ezra Lusk. Way out in front is Kevin Windham right now. And it looks like he'll break the string if things stay the way they are, of having different riders win each event so far this season. Ezra Lusk trying to catch up with John Dowd. Dowdy's holding his own.
Well, all he's basically got to do is just stay in a good line. I mean, where the heck is Ezra going to go to make a pass? And Carmichael found a spot on that off camber where two lines ran into one. You can try to beat somebody to the line, but that's about it. You otherwise just kind of stay back there just outside the roost, let them know you're there, and hope they blow it somewhere. That's about it.
Dowdy getting a little swing in the back there, reaching up to the goggles to pull one away.
Actually, they've got an extra little piece of material up there on their visor to extend the length of it, so when they duck, they don't get roosted. I'm not sure what he's smiling about. I'd be pretty bummed. But I guess you got to try to have some fun somehow. Not much he could do. He had a good run going. It's not his fault.
John Dowd picking carefully his line through the corner.
Yeah, these guys, Ezra dropping it right there. See all the mud built up on his visor? Well, Dowd's helmet's clean. Probably because he had a tear off up there. They just rig up. As soon as that gets heavy and the visor starts to come down in your face, pull that tear off and it lightens up your helmet.
I was curious if Doug Henry's win here in his championship year overrode the fact that he has the most historic crash in motocross history here at Budds Creek. And he said, Art, there's not a moment on this track that I don't remember that horrific crash. Doug Henry with Mike LaRocco right behind him. It's a pretty good time now to turn to this week's Honda riding tip.
This time I want to give you some ideas on how to handle the mud. First of all, it takes a lot of defensive riding to try to keep the bike in a straight line. A lot of body English. That was Phil Lawrence going off the racetrack. Paddling is okay. Here's Damon Bradshaw demonstrating that. Try to stay forward on the seat, though, so you have control over the front end. Here's perhaps one of the best riders ever, Jeremy McGrath, paddling some more. If that's what it takes to keep it on two wheels, do it. As far as going through big water puddles, avoid them if at all possible. That's Larry Ward going through it. It worked out for him, but that's when the bike can suck water, throttle can stick, and water in the slide cause all kinds of problems. And if you do go down, keep your finger on the clutch, keep that motor running. If you got to restart, you're going to lose a lot of time. Watch Ezra right here. Paddling is the only thing that saved him. And for the scoring, run a number on top of your helmet if the conditions are bad. And practice those goggle changes. You may lose a little time getting a fresh pair, but you're going to make it up somewhere else. For this week's Honda riding tip, I'm David Bailey.
Back to the action, Kevin Windham. This could be the first time that he's won a moto and an overall in the same day. And of course, when he won that overall earlier in the season, it kind of bummed him out that he didn't have a moto win. As we take a look at the Honda scoreboard with Windham, Ward, Albertijn, the top three. Henry with a marvelous ride, getting back into fourth position. Mike LaRocco rounding out the top five. But this guy is just, it's been like a perfect race for him.
I haven't seen a mistake yet. He's just doing everything right. Look at him just lay it into that berm perfect, right back on the power, good momentum. Usually in a pretty nasty conditions like this, even the best riders look a little squirrely at times. I just haven't seen Kevin really ever look bothered.
What do you think, David? A sweep is, I always looked like it was a shutout in baseball. But these guys are pitching no-hitters now with sweeps.
It's pretty impressive, especially with the lineup of talent. You go down the starting line, and especially for the privateers, those guys lined up and probably look down the line and go, okay, well, I'm second, I'm third, I'm fourth. You know, you look at all the talent. And for some guys to go out there and sweep it, I wouldn't have thought this was the year that we'd see so many of those.
This could be the fourth time in 5 races that we have a sweep as we take a look at Greg Albertijn, who's been a real warrior this year.
kind of a comparison. Just get to that same corner Kevin went through. Looking pretty good as well. Comfortable in the mud. His attitude. You got to go out there and have a good time. You see Kevin was having a lot of fun in the first moto and show.
Windham, Ward, Albertine. The order hasn't changed. We'll be right back. Time is running down for a historic finish for Kevin Windham as we take a look at some of the other riders back in the pack. Ezra Lusk and Jeff Emig.
Emig actually started to close up now on Lusk. Lusk made that mistake and lost touch with Dowd. He has picked up Emig. He's got to ride that line and not make a mistake or he'll lose a position, and that's not what he wants to do now after losing all his points in the first moto to Tortelli.
It was so encouraging to see Emig win his first moto of the season in the second event of the year at Hangtown after a fifth and taking second on the podium. But he just hasn't come up to that measure of success in the last two events. Emig, right after this race, Budds Creek last year, started a terrific string of moto victories, leading to overall victories. And then, of course, the thumb injury that required surgery, missing the last two races of the year. Our lineup: Windham, Ward, Albertine, Henry in the first four spots. Robbie Raynard is right in front of Ezra Lusk and Jeff Emig. Koikita still in the top 10. Jeremy Albrecht is Emig's mechanic. Davies with him now.
Jeremy, how's it going for Fro out there?
Well, I'd have to say probably a little better than last moto. It's a mess out there, you know. It's not fun for either one of us, I don't think, but you know, it's part of racing. It's cool.
Through his career, we know Jeff Emig has been a top mud rider, but it seems like today he just can't get on track.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with the start. You know, you get in the back and you're getting roost and you're pulling tear-offs. And I mean, the first one we went through probably 3 pair of goggles, and I mean, it's a good thing we got all kinds of spares. We got spare everything, and that's just the way it goes. You know, I think you get in front and you're out front, it's a lot easier on you.
When are you going to get that guy back on track?
We're working every day, hopefully soon.
Lots of advantages of being out front, not just from a dirty jersey point of view.
Vision is the toughest part of the mud race for most riders. Everyone pretty skilled at riding the mud. Start is obviously very important, but regardless of the start you get, I mean, you saw how muddy these guys were, Windham and Tortelli, after being first and second the entire moto. So it comes down to vision.
Ezra Lusk is glad to have his new 2-year contract with Team Honda signed, sealed, and delivered, and it showed in last week's performance at Southwick, Massachusetts. And Tortelli is not far behind Lusk, so he's not going to be picking up too many points.
Whoa, it's a little bit out of line, runs into a lapper. It's difficult. I was about to say, Ezra's charging through that groove, and the tough part is the back tires start to fishtail around and swap out of it. So the main thing is go as fast as you can. Try not to drift out of that line. It's only about a foot wide.
Battle for 6th is on with Robbie Raynard in 7th behind John Dowd. Raynard with a 10th place finish in the opening moto.
I thought we'd see more from him this year in this 250. Yeah, we really haven't seen him much.
I did too.
An excellent rider. You watch him in warm-up, practice, testing during the week. I'm sure that Roger from Suzuki has high hopes with his talent, but starts and results just are not coming.
And you can't really blame it on the machine, because Greg Albertijn has proved, and Larry Ward in Supercross, that this 250 machine from Team Suzuki is up to par.
It's there and it's ready. That's the most frustrating part. Whenever I'm talking with Roger, he's just shaking his head going, I don't know what else to do. These guys are faster in the week. Their lap times in practice are match the fastest of everyone else. The bike's there. They're getting hole shots. Albie proved it. He won a couple motos, and I don't know what else to do. He's just grabbing straws right now and keeping his fingers crossed down there.
Well, even Pichon didn't do that much better on a Honda. Whoa! Mike LaRocco goes down. Will he lose a position? He hasn't yet.
That was lucky. The way he fell, he was able to hang on to the clutch. He didn't lose a position. He lost a little time. That's just one of those dumb falls that you just look back on and go, well, you know, it would have been nice if that didn't happen, but it's not like he had to sit there and restart, lose a position, or injure himself. And look, watch what happens. He's going to put his foot out for the corner. Sometimes he leaned on that foot and ski on it a little bit. I think it's so slippery it slid right out from underneath him. He had nothing to lean on. It fell right over, but he did keep the bike running.
Larry Ward still hanging on to 2nd place without goggles.
I talked about Tortelli passing the most riders this year. think Larry Ward has ridden the most races without goggles than anybody else. Never has them on in the mud.
Windham, Ward, Albertine, Henry, and LAROCCO, our top 5. We'll be right back with the run to the checkers in a moment. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. Kevin Windham, little leisure ride now as he puts the fist in the air in the last lap for him, and it would mean his very first 250 National Outdoors sweep, a 1-1 for Kevin Windham.
That's going to feel good. This is going to be one of those days where he's going to come in and go, man, where was everybody? Because everything he's doing right there just hops over that plateau, jumps that one-handed, waving at the fans. His slow lap here is probably as good as about 80% of the riders out there trying their hardest. That's the kind of day that he's had.
With this kind of riding, David Bailey, it's going to get him right back into the points race. The checkers for Kevin Windham. And it'll be a happy ride home. Windham, Ward, Albertine, our top 3 in the second moto. Luskin 7th in front of Tortelli, but what a comeback. Near last when he went down the last time. Tortelli in 9th. Let's go to Davey.
Tough ride there in the second moto. You came out 3rd, but I know you expected more on a mud race like this.
Yeah, you know, I sure was expecting to win, but all credit to Kevin. He rode an exceptional race, and I just want to thank the Lord Jesus for keeping us safe out there. It was a tough, tough day, and my eyes are going to take a little while to recover, but my Suzuki was running great. I want to thank my wife for cleaning all my gear for me, and all my sponsors, my MSR, Smith, Glycomax, CTI, all of them. Dunlop, thank you.
I know that there's a big picture here. There's a championship to be thinking about. By my math, you made some points up.
Yeah, it looks like it. You know, I don't know where Sebastian finished in the second motor. I know he had a strong first motor, but I'm pretty sure I made some up on Ezra, and you know, I'm just pushing on for that win.
Greg ALBERTIJN definitely pulling some points on the 2 leaders. No one who grew up in sunny Southern California in the top 9 of our overall. Ward with a 16-2. Let's go to Davey.
First of all, that was a great effort, but secondly, I want to tell you, we had a lot of fun up there in the pit area when you and your mechanic Lee were debating about whether to get the goggles or not.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We were laughing and joking around. We had a miserable first moto, had to change everything on the bike, but my mechanic and Suzuki worked really hard and got the bike real good, got a better start, and we need to work on that pit stop for goggles. It took me about 3 laps to get everything figured out, but we got it figured out. I got some goggles. They only lasted a couple laps, but it sure was nice having goggles, even just for an extra lap or 2.
I know you're renowned as a mud rider. You've won nationals before in conditions like this. Had it been hard to know that you had to baby that motor all through the second moto? Lee told us he wanted you to be easy on it.
Yeah, you know, first moto my bike overheated some, and second moto it would have done the same thing, but he kept me calm and just said don't worry about the wind. Kevin was riding extremely well, and you know, I was making sure I'd shift early, and I wasn't using the clutch that much, and just wanted to finish and get some good points for a change.
Good effort.
Thank you.
So Sebastian Tortelli has taken over the points lead by 4 points over Ezra Lusk. Albie picked up points, 13 behind Tortelli. LAROCCO and Windham tied for 4th, 27 points ahead of Windham in 6th. Let's go back now and listen to the man of the hour.
Man, where did you learn to ride in the mud like that?
Well, early yesterday, I just felt good when I come to this track, and I had it in my mind that I was going to do good. And you know, I was a little disappointed when it started raining today, but I said, hey, you know, we got to do it. We might as well go out and have as much fun as we can. And I tell you what, going 1 minute don't get any funner.
It was another fantastic start. You lined up on the outside again. What was it like going in the first corner that time?
Oh, well, my tail almost passed up my front end there going into the first turn, and I pushed it in there really hard. They had some guys get a good jump out of the inside, and you know, I knew I had to leave it on and get out there, and I pushed it pretty hard. Lucky I didn't go down, but I mean, these Dunlops and this Honda's just been working great. I'd also like to thank the rest of my sponsors: 1-800 Collect, No Fear Gear, Axo Helmet, Scott Goggles, Alpine Star Boots, and Gary Simmons.
I know you got some points to make up in the title chase, but you got something to work off of now. You're the first guy to win 2 of these this year.
Yeah, it feels really good, and you know, of course I want to win, but you know, the other 2 are holding strong up in first and second. I don't know about after today how the points will work out, but you know, I think we just want to get Hondas up there 1, 2, and 3, and you know, I'm doing everything I can to try to get myself up there. And I know sometimes a lot of people think I might be out of shape, but I'm really working hard. It's just I need to go out there and get comfortable, and you know, it really showed today.